Can you tell me a little bit about what you do and how I can get youth engaged?
So one of the big things that I do in drones is drone racing, and I think that's really where drones become better than video games. Because a video game, yeah, you crash and you reset, but a drone, you're sending something real through the sky at 90 miles an hour. And when you crash, you wince in your goggles and you feel it as if you were in that drone. And the feeling when you're growing through the air at 90 miles an hour, it's just amazing. There's nothing like it. And these things are just so much fun to fly, build, repair. And then when you come into small drones like this, the race courses can change entirely because they can go in just about every direction you can imagine.
Now, what's behind me in front of you? That is what you call the course?
Over here we have a netted race course set up, so that way we can navigate different obstacles with these little mini quadcopters here.
So they can get to build them? They can buy them so they can build them?
You can buy them as kits, right? So this one right here came as a kit, and I had to put all the pieces together, buy all the electronics, glue it all together. This one here came pre-assembled.
Okay.
All I had to do was connect it to my radio, charge the battery, ready to go.
Thank you.
Yep.
If anybody wanted to learn more about this, are you here locally?
I'm in Blacksburg, Virginia, in the New River Valley.
And if anybody wanted to contact you?
You can find me N0FPV on YouTube.
Okay.
And I've got build videos and flight videos so you can see different stuff. And for anyone who wants to get started, a little toy drone like this from Amazon for under $20 or $30, these are the great place to start because you can crash them all day long inside and learn how to move them. And then once you get better, you can upgrade to something like this, which is a lot more powerful, faster, and has a built-in camera.
Okay, okay. And will they also learn how to build them?
You can
with those? You upgrade?
You can absolutely learn how to build them. The way I got started was buying a whole kit. It was just all the parts, and I had to do all the research. There was no build videos, no real guides at the time. I just had to use kind of my experience building Legos to just put it all together and solder it all up and figure out how to get the software working, tune it, fly it, and make it my own.
And you've been doing this how long?
Going on 5 years now.
All right. And your name is?
My name is Stephen Tanner.
Thank you.
N0FPV.
Thank you. We back it up. We're sitting right here at the train station. There's an aviation exposition going on. And I've just sit there and talking to one of my new friends. And we're talking about poverty. Talking about poverty and talking about how we can get the youth engaged so they can come out of poverty at this event. Tell me your name and what can we do?
My name's Paul Willard. I'm originally from Southwest Virginia. I grew up over in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And talking about poverty and the thing that I was raised by my grandmother and lived in an old two-story log cabin. We didn't have central heater plumbing, but you know, I always talked about what I'd like to do in life and where I'd like to go. But my grandmother always said you've got to get a good education if you want to break out. And I didn't know how, didn't have any financial help or anything, but I got a job working and I saved my money, and eventually I got enough money to go to college. And when I went to college, after I got out of college, I went into the Air Force as an officer, and since then it's kind of history. But it got me out of where I grew up.
Tell me about the event where we are right now and how it would help the inner city youth.
This is the Virginia Aviation Business Association. All the, if you will, vendors in here are representing aviation interests across the state of Virginia. And as how they can help, so many programs are here, like Old Dominion, Liberty, Civil Air Patrol, all kinds of business opportunities such as the Wallop Space Facility, Virginia Aviation Space Grant Authority. But these organizations can expose youth at an early age to aviation opportunities. There's a critical shortage of young people going into aviation career fields. Matter of fact, it's a desperate shortage of pilots because the fact that people in the commercial industry are retiring at high rates right now, and we don't have pilots to take their place. But you say, well, of course, you know, everybody would like to be a pilot, but for every one pilot, you need 97 people to support that one pilot. So the aviation careers are unbounded as far as we have in the United States right now. What they talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, we are in a critical shortage of people doing that. And they're exciting things. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to work on a rocket. But there are so many jobs out there in aviation, and this is kind of the epitome, if you will, right here in one place where we can expose those kind of opportunities for young people to get into aviation-related careers.
Now you sit down and you talked about the DC area, and I asked you a question. I look at here what is here, but people that look like me not here. How do we get them engaged? I would say talk to the association that sponsors this. And maybe what would be good is have a time of day where we could start maybe earlier in the day, where you could bring school groups in and expose them to this type of opportunities. Talk to them about aviation. Kids love this stuff. And anytime you take them out of a classroom and say, these are hands-on opportunities for you here, things that you can do. A kid says, well, I want to do this. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to go into the Air Force. But I knew I had to go to college. I didn't have money, but I worked and I saved my money so I could go to college and get a degree to go into the military. You don't have to necessarily go in the military, and most people don't. But again, aviation is critical right now, looking for people, young people, that want to seek careers in aviation. And again, for every one pilot, there's 97 people that are not pilots. So we really need people. But, the idea of maybe talking to the association about sponsoring an afternoon where they can bring kids here to see these kind of things. I don't know, but I would suggest talking to them about that. Well, I'm going to say one thing in closing. I just want to thank you for being honest.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you for being real.
Thank you, sir.
All right?
If you tell people where the jobs are going to be 20 years from now, they'll study that work to get the job. But you got to tell them where to go, otherwise they're not going to go there.
And so
as you said, exposure. If you don't know it's out there, you're not going to get it.
And again, aviation is so critical. I know if you're, if you take junior ROTC in high school, if you have a program for Air Force aviation, Civil Air Patrol is a volunteer program here in the state of Virginia. We have squadrons in Richmond and as well around the state where young people can get involved. That's how I got interested. I was a Civil Air Patrol cadet, and it launched me into wanting to go to the Air Force, wanting to become an officer, wanting to get, again.
Listening to your grandma.
Listening to my grandmother, you got to get an education. And somebody, like I said, I had to find a path, and the path was, if you want it, you can get it.
But you had to see it.
You have to see it. And as a CAP cadet, Civil Air Patrol cadet, over in Southwest Virginia, again, it motivated me, save my money, go to college. I went to college, and after that, I would say it's kind of history now. But provided me a great opportunity, and traveled all over the world and the country doing things with the Air Force.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got something you want to say?
Just, you guys see, education is not the end-all be-all. The idea that you chase college to get the job, I think is beginning to become outdated. You need to be chasing the job prior to chasing college. You need to think about what you're actually going into it for. You finish 8 years, get a doctorate, and they look at you and go, you didn't come here to get a job, you came here to get an education. You're going to have a sour belly.
Well, see, that's why so many opportunities for career and tech ed. The state of Virginia has actually stepped out quite well on career and technical education. And when you think about where so many opportunities are, I know somebody will say, well, I don't necessarily want to be a mechanic, or I don't want to be a bricklayer. Well, right now in the state of Virginia, they're desperate for people in those career-type jobs.
You can make more money over your lifetime. In fact, there are machinists making over $100K a year because that's where the economy is right now. Whereas PhDs are making 30, 40.
It's career. What is it? Because there's so many needs. And like I said, when I talk about aviation, we're desperate for people in the aviation career fields right now.
On that note, I want to say thank you. Everybody, I'm ready.
My name is Aaron Smith. I'm the Program Administrator for Denby Aviation Academy, Newport News, Virginia. Our program consists of 4 pathways, which is flight ops, including pilot and air traffic control, safety and security, which is public law, and criminal justice. Then we also have aerospace engineering that's done through Project Lead the Way. We also have a maintenance side, which is aviation
Tell me a little bit more about the program in terms of once the student is able to see this, how does it change their attitude and aptitude?
So when kids come in the program, 90% of them don't know what they want to be. And I explain to them that's fine, but what you have to do is leverage yourself on two things. It's your education and your experiences. When you think of those two things and you use an opportunity, let's say aviation, you then create interest, you then create hands-on opportunities, and you also create an opportunity to bond with the kids. And when kids feel like they're connected, they really want to resonate and are attracted to many professions within the industry because they want to emulate what they're doing in the classrooms.
How do you recommend them getting exposure? Because if they don't know, they don't know.
Right. So number one, you got to get in the classrooms. You need to start with career days. You need to be in the middle schools. You need to be in the elementary schools. You need to be in the pre-kindergarten schools. Because the sooner you can plant those seeds and show the kids the things that they can be, not only is it going to be a win for the careers, it's also going to keep them focused throughout their academic career. And that's the number one thing that we see in America that our kids struggle with, is getting them hooked and maintained to understand the value of education so that they can enjoy a rewarding career.
It's almost like saying, they say, this is completely different than playing a game on the computer. This is hands-on.
It is. And it is hands-on, but it's also through the computer. So, for example, in our aerospace engineering pathway, our kids do computer-assisted design or CAD work through Autodesk. So it is computer work, but they're manipulating 3D shapes that eventually can turn into products after they're printed with a 3D printer. So that's where the hands-on comes to life. Because once they create those projects and they're able to produce it, then they can put them in a wind tunnel, or they can test it in another activity such as a stress test or a bridge. And that's the fun part about our job, is they have the ability to connect theory to practice to application to success.
And your name, if anybody want to get in contact with you.
My name is Aaron Smith. I'm the program director at Aviation Academy in Newport News, Virginia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing? My name is Preston Paige, and I am a lobbyist at Advantage Strategies. We represent the Virginia Aviation Business Association, and we're here for our annual legislative reception. So I just want to talk about my experience getting exposed to the aviation industry. I didn't get exposed to it till around about 26, close to 27, and I realized all of the opportunities in the aviation space that is really game changing for boys and girls like me and who look like me. The aviation industry is 3% of it is minorities, and I was never really exposed to aviation growing up, and I just want to use my position in the Virginia Aviation Business Association to diversify the industry in general. This is a great opportunity for kids who are minorities, or kids who are in underserved school divisions or underserved localities to really experience a career and that is lucrative, that's rewarding, that is innovative, that's always challenging, and I really think it's important for any industry to diversify. I love inclusive spaces, and I don't see that much in the aviation industry, so that's what my personal goal is to do. One thing that we do have to do is get our legislators on board, especially our Democratic legislators. We are focused on very important issues, and I do believe that we do need to focus a little bit more on expanding opportunities for our minorities and people who don't really have an affluent lifestyle to get into this industry. So that calls for community outreach to churches and in schools and youth programs and incorporating aviation into their curriculum. It's a STEM-related field, but it's so broad that you can do anything in aviation. You can do graphic design, you can do software engineering, you can do mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, even HVAC systems. You could work on the engines. And with the evolution of unmanned systems, which I am particularly interested in, we are actually developing the law to integrate UAS into the national airspace, which I find fascinating. Like, Virginia is leading the way of writing the law, of putting this new technology and inserting it into the national airspace. So, I mean...
Well, look, help me out with this. The movie Hidden Figures just came out.
Yes, sir.
A couple years ago.
Yes, sir.
All right? We right here in Hampton Road, didn't know nothing about it. And I'm looking at, if we jump from Hidden Figures, where you had a few blacks, if we train or expose other people of our race to engage in what's going on, look at how the economy would change. Look at how the attitudes would change in terms of being able to do something with your hands versus with the computer. They're not even exposed to it.
Yes, sir. And that's what we need to change. We need to each one teach one. So
my question is this: if anybody want to get in contact with you to learn more about this program, be it a child, be it a parent, be it an educator, be it a sponsor to help bring these programs into the school, the church, how would they do that?
Well, first you can always contact me. My name is Preston Paige. That's my name on Facebook. My email is ppage, P-A-G-E, at advantagestrategies.com. And my phone number is 202-607-4370. You can text me, but I'll prefer an email. And we have the Civil Air Patrol, which has a STEM kit that it's only $35, and it's really built for teachers to immerse their kids into the STEM field through aviation. And I found that kit to be extremely beneficial to especially the middle schoolers, that age range. But that's how you get in contact with me.
On that note, I'll say thank you.
No problem, sir.
It is a transformative package. There's a lot of moving parts that still need to be working on that. I want to thank Secretary Valentine for her leadership in that, and recognize the governor on a bipartisan effort to provide funding to our airports, our aviation facilities, and our transportation facilities. We don't want to talk much more tonight, but we do want to thank you. We want you to make sure you get by each of the booths. Legislators are going to continue to show up in here. Behind this drapes is a unmanned systems demonstration. So please go behind the drape. We want to thank AIS. We want to thank CIT, Jay Wilmot, our legislative chair, for helping to orchestrate this and orchestrate this flight line. Go back and see it, because what you're seeing today is tomorrow's future, but tomorrow's here today. We're going to be using this technology, so we'll go see what it is. And with this, I want to thank you for being here. Go back and enjoy your day. One last introduction. I've got Brigadier General Tony Lord. Tony, raise your hand. General Lord is the Commanding General of the Virginia Air National Guard. Those are the F-22s we fly out of Langley. So thank her and thank her people for their service. She's also looking for all these young people to fill these jobs. Folks, thank you and enjoy your time, and continue to have fun.